Hello, hello, hello. Merry Christmas, all of my beautiful friends from the internet. I actually am recording this episode on Christmas Day. So this episode is going to be a little bit shorter. You know, it's crazy. I'm not back in town for very long, but it's crazy how much your time fills up when you are back. But anyways, why don't I introduce the episode in case anyone who might not or who might be new to the show is listening and wondering what the hell I'm talking about. So welcome to the Reddit Ask Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast, please leave us a rating, and also please leave us a review. I have no idea how much that helps out the show. Remember, you can answer this week's Reddit question by going to Spotify. You can listen for free and download episodes for free on Spotify. And click the description of any episode, and you should see a white icon that says reply, and you can answer this week's Reddit question, and I will read those responses out loud on the next week's following episode. Excuse me. So without further ado, why don't we hop into that? But I just want to say that, I am recording this Christmas Day, and don't worry, I have no qualms about that. When you guys will be listening to this, it will be Boxing Day. But happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and let's look forward to the new year here, 2024. So wild. I started this podcast in 2020, I think. Yeah, I started this podcast in 2020, which is wild to think. I mean, I haven't been doing it the way that the way that this show is formatted and structured since then. I've only been doing the modern way for about 2 years now, but still started the podcast about 4 years ago, like the whole idea of Reddit Asks Us. So it's crazy to think I'm still rocking it and kicking it with all my beautiful friends from the internet. So why don't we read off last week's episode? So last week was, what has been your biggest I thought I knew this person moment? First one comes from Stressed Human. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, everyone. And happy holidays to all my friends who may be irreligious, not religious, or other types of religions. I thought I knew my mom, but turns out she helped raise my two half-sisters, my father's kids with his first ex, as her own, while raising my sister and I as a single mother. That's interesting. So I'm wondering, did you know that those were your half-siblings, or did you just kind of assume that they were your full siblings? Because that's quite the tall order. I remember my grandpa did something similar. He when he met my grandma, he was in the Navy, and it was just before he turned 20, or no, he was 21 or something like that. But she had 3 kids at the time, because she had kids when she was 16 or 17 or something. And he just took them on, and it just it's just crazy. He talks about it like it's no big deal, and I'm like, this is just one of the most noblest things you could possibly ever do as a human being. So shout out to your mom, Stressed Human. That's incredible. Mick Muff, you should tell her every single day she needs to hear how amazing that is, because there are a lot of people on this planet. I don't know, if I met somebody, and even if I really liked them and they had 3 kids already, I don't know if I could do that. I'm 22. I'm like, bro, I don't think that's in my wheelhouse. I'd be completely I'd be a bad father. I'd be saying no, not because I don't want to be a dad, because I probably eventually do, but no, it's because I'm not ready to be a father to children. Responsible for human lives, that is just way too much for me. Next one comes from McMuffin. What's going on, McMuffin? When my second grade girlfriend cheated on me with the kid that ate erasers. Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a good holiday season. Thank you so much, McMuffin. Next one comes from the dotted, unimpressed emoji face. I already told that, but the guy who brought 20 grams of weed to my mom's house and was addicted to speed. That's new information. Addicted to speed, yeah. Everyone seems like a chill guy until they whip out the bag of drugs. Everyone seems like, oh, this guy's a nice guy. Then he whips out the cocaine or the the Molly or the whatever it is, and it's like, yeah, bro, I don't see us hanging again. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'd tell that person that, but I'd be like, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, don't think we're gonna hang. Don't think that this is really gonna work out too well. I don't think that too many great things come from hanging out with people who are addicted to speed. Last one comes from Rip Harambe. Dad sometimes brings up horrible things about his childhood. This is just classic, though. That's the class. Tom Segura has a really funny bit about his dad. His dad, as his dad got older, because his dad fought in Vietnam, and it's just really funny. As his dad got older, he would just randomly say, "Oh, Tommy, yeah, that that was really strange what you had on your podcast there. It reminds me of when I was in Vietnam, and I saw one of my sergeants use his bayonet to carve a guy's face off. Yeah, don't forget that one. That one stays in your mind. Yeah. It's like, what? I've never heard this story before, ever. And you're just deciding to whip this out now? But yeah, the older people don't see it as trauma. They just see it as just like, it's just one of those things that happen, you know. You gotta get over it. Life goes on. It's like, well, you should probably check and make sure your mental health is okay. All right. So why don't we hop into today's episode? So thank you all so much for the replies. I know some of these questions can be a little obscure, so don't feel bad. If you don't feel bad if you don't have much to say. Even if you just want to say something about the podcast, if you like the podcast, or just anything in general, I would much appreciate it. And even if you don't listen on Spotify, you can still go in on Spotify and submit a response too. I know a lot of people listen on other platforms like Apple, Pandora, other platforms. So shout out to all my listeners over there as well. So if you just have anything to say at all, hop over to Spotify and leave us a review and a rating. You just, again, have no idea how much that helps the show. But I love each and every single one of you, and the show is always growing. So I love seeing that, and it's the people's dedication to this show is always going to amaze me. So this episode was, what is a secret you will never tell your parents? And so, I'm such an idiot. This is something that I was planning on never telling my parents, and I forgot about it. And it was probably one of the worst mistakes of my life, because I just don't know why I didn't tell. If you fuck up, please tell your parents. Please do it, because I fucked up, and it was worse that I didn't tell them. But when I think I was in high school, I used my dad's truck to drive somewhere, and I drove into a parkade, but the barrier that says like how low you can go didn't hit the truck when I was driving in. So I was like, okay, it's gonna be fine. And so I was driving to one of the top levels, and as I was driving to the top level, I drove up the ramp, and just all I heard was, and I fucked up the top of my dad's truck, and I didn't tell him about it. And then it was that summer when all the snow melted off that he was in the bed of his truck, just loading in wood or something, and there it was, just silver scratch marks all over the top. And you know what? You as a person think, oh yeah, like this is the idiotic way that adolescent people think and teenagers think. Oh yeah, like he's not going to notice that. There are massive scrape marks on the top of a truck that have destroyed the paint and partially part of the roof. Is he going to just think that he did that? Oh, he's probably just, oh yeah, I did that. I probably did that. No. People know that they did not do that. Okay? And like, who's he going to think? He's like, is the first thing that comes to his mind going to be like, you know what? There is no way that was Luke. There's no way. I'm looking at this right now. Out of all the people who have ever driven this truck, there's no way it was Luke. Not a chance. It's like, yeah, I think that was probably that's the alternate reality in the universe where my dad has like an IQ of 2, where that is true. Okay. All right. So why don't we hop into this? First one comes from reference 999. Pre-cell phone era. I answered the phone, and it was my aunt calling from Florida. My parents had planned a long drive up to see her. She was calling to say that maybe now wasn't a good time to visit. It took only about 30 seconds for it to turn into a rant about not really wanting to see them in her house, to flat out insults about every wrong thing they had ever done to her. When the rant was out, I said, yeah, they left an hour ago. My aunt said, let's just make this our little secret, okay? And hung up the phone. Yeah, she's just going on this massive rant. You know, your parents, and they don't care where they park, and they're loud every single time they come up, do my thing, and then they use all my groceries, and they never pay me back, and it's just, and I don't want to bring it up with them, because your mom, she gets all defensive, and then your dad just sits there and does nothing, and will never say anything, and it's just like, he has no balls, so it's like, and it just turns into this massive thing, and it's making me really resent your mother, because we grew up in this, what she always did as sisters. Oh, and, yep. Oh, yeah, well, I'm trying to butt in, like, Yeah. They. Just wanted to say they just. Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. They actually. Oh yeah. Okay. No, they left. They left. They left. Yeah. They're almost at your house. Yeah. They're probably gonna be knocking on your door any minute. My mom just forgot to. Yeah. She told me to call you up and just tell you about that. So yeah. Happy holidays. Next one comes from Ham Fitter. When I was a kid, we were on my dad's boat far out at sea. He asked me to take the wheel. After about 5 minutes, I saw a big log floating and steered into it. Hit it hard with the prop. Hard. I had seen a cartoon where they did this, and it just turned the log into toothpicks. It did not do that. We had to get towed in by the Coast Guard. Oh, cartoon thinking. Yeah. This is why, I think it's tough, but this is why we've had to make cartoons time over time get less and less violent. They went from the Looney Tunes where, Elmer Fudd would get knocked over the head by a giant mallet by Bugs Bunny, and just a big little lump poke on his head. And it turns out if you do that in real life, you're gonna kill someone. Yeah, it turns out if you smack someone over the head with a metal mallet, as hard as you possibly can, that person's going to, 1, die, and 2, if they don't die, they will suffer severe life permanent brain damage. So, yeah, now that's how we go from Looney Tunes to Paw Patrol. A little bit, I think we've eased up on the violence a little bit there. Eased up on it a little bit. Had to, and that's why we get, we go from Tom and Jerry to SpongeBob. SpongeBob is considerably less overtly violent. I don't remember too many times in SpongeBob where someone pulled out a gun, while the cartoon was going on. Yeah, a blunderbuss, Elmer Fudd shooting rabbits. Don't get me wrong though. Shout out to Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes is awesome. It's OG. All right. Next one comes from. Oh, sorry. Oh, that I just said that one. But that again is fucking just gonna turn it into toothpicks. It's like, Dad, I was trying to get us free toothpicks. It's not even. I was doing us a favor. Okay, this is for the family. All right. Next one comes from 97 Blood Orange __. Had skipped school, and the school called my dad to ask why I didn't show up. So he calls me and says, "Why the hell aren't you at school?" So I told him that I'm actually on a field trip, and they should know that. And he says, "Okay, let me talk to your teacher." So I was in downtown, and there was no shortage of homeless people, so I asked one if he'll pretend to be my teacher for $5. He sold it perfectly, and my dad apologized to me. He's just boozed out, just some guy, just a little buzzed on the street, just... And scene. Yes, actually, this is Mr. Smitherson, and yes, we did decide to do it's actually a very small group of us, because it's an AP class, so we're just taking the students out of the AP history class. So we are downtown, seeing some of the oldest sites in the city, and yeah, we should be back by this afternoon. So I'm very proud of your son for taking some. Take advantage of the opportunities that school has available to him. Yes, yeah, okay. And scene. And then he's just like, all right, $5, kid. Let me go and get some cigarettes. All right. Next one comes from Sherbay Slight. I was in fact in a dangerous area when traveling and survived a night bombing. Oh yeah. This is when you're on the phone with your parents and they're like, "Honey, this is like 2017 or something. It's like, I know you're interested in investigative journalism, but I heard the area of Syria that you're in is pretty bad. I heard it's getting bombed. Like, are you okay? Like, what is that in the background?" It's just and you're just like, "Mom, that's my roommate. This guy I'm rooming with. His name's Johnny. Met at a hostel. He's just slamming the door." She's like, "Johnny, stop slamming the door." He just keeps slamming the door, Mom. He's just doing it over to annoy me. Johnny, yeah, you're crazy, bro. You're crazy. Go to bed, man. Go to bed. They're gonna get pissed at us. We might not get our security deposit. Yeah, you're crazy. Yeah, no, Syria was so chill, Mom. Don't even trip. All right, and that's no slight to Syria, folks. I know Syria's doing a lot better these days. I'm just saying, there were certain times Syria was getting bombed pretty hard. So, don't want to. If you're an investigative journalist, you want to steer clear of some of that. Next one comes from Sigma Agent. I remember the day you adopted me. I never told them. They gave me all the love that shaped me as a person. Surely they had their reasons, which I will never question, for never saying it during their lives. They passed away several years ago, and I will miss them every single day of my life. Sometimes parents don't need to know any secrets because there's a good chance they already know or have deduced it long before you've even considered telling them. They love you unconditionally. It is your sole decision to share something with them or not. A reply from Dr. Horrible himself. Fucking invisible ninjas chopping onions everywhere. I mean, that's, I guess, yeah, maybe you just have that, you have that memory that, and they maybe always just thought that you didn't know that you were adopted. But yeah, again, I mean, if I adopted my kid, I don't know. I feel like I need more expertise on this. Do you tell your kid? Because I feel like if you kind of always tell your kid, oh yeah, we adopted you, we didn't actually give birth to you, and you bring it about in this casual way, but you make it not a big deal. You know what I mean? It's because we love you so much, and we wanted to, we wanted to have you as our child, and I don't know. I think if you have the right attitude about it, I feel like it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing to your kid knows they're adopted, because they don't. I feel like them finding that information out, if they ever do, is always going to be shocking, and I feel like it'd be better to kind of tell them that, and have them always kind of knowing that, but it just depends. You have to destigmatize it. You have to make sure that you're constantly reaffirming things, even in implicit ways, to make it normalized, right? Because it's about normalizing it, making it not seem like a strange thing, right? Because if you don't make it seem like a strange thing, then they would think, well, why is it strange? It's not strange at all. Next one comes from Rogue Siege Tank. I lied when I said they repaid me for half of my sister's wedding dinner. My dad was somewhat forced into early retirement, and while splitting the dinner bill wouldn't change things overall, I didn't want him stretching his retirement money to cover something I could afford to pay for in full. Wow, again, these are all really, really heartwarming, really, really heartwarming things that people have done for each other. Just got to be but at the same time, your dad's slowly forgetting things. Did I pay for that? It's okay, you want to make sure you're using that for good and not for evil. It's the Squid Games character. It's telling the old man, he's nope, that was odd. You said odd. No, you said odd. Yeah, it's wait till you use that against your dad in when your dad develops dementia. You guys end up in Squid Games. Now you have to convince your dad that no, he said even. I think you said even, Dad. I think you said even. I'm pretty sure you said even. But you know what? I'm the one with the sharp mind here, Dad. So I don't know. I think you might have to trust me on this one. Okay? I think you might have to give away some dependence, just depend on me. I got you on this one. Next one comes from Esoteric Enigma. I stole this tape they bought that taught couples some new techniques to spice up their sex life. They were demonstrated by two real people, so it was porn. I let a friend hold it, and he lost it. I'm sure they know, but I'll never admit it. Yeah, son, it's kind of crazy. I used to have a VHS player with VHS tapes. I wonder whatever happened to those. Ooh, VHS. Woo. Yeah, boy, I use DVDs now. Yeah, and that's the oldest thing I have. Is that streaming online now, Dad? Yeah, I just is it hot in here? Are you guys hot in here? No, I don't even know what a VHS is. How does that even work? I don't even think I'd remember, even if I was a kid. I wouldn't even know. Yes, yeah. Just on my phone. Everything's on my phone now, Dad. So awkward. Next one comes from Austin Ave. Well, I was going to hide the fact that I got robbed at gunpoint, but my sister's mouth is too flabby. Oh, God. Yeah, why did you come home last night and you had no shoes on? What you kids, what are you doing? Are you okay? And you had no shirt, and that nice watch that Grandpa gave you was gone? What did you just... You know what? Me and my friends are into this new game of hide and seek where we take things of each other's and you hide them, and if you can't find them, then you lose them forever. So yeah, it's a thing, But don't ask my friends about it though. They won't. We agreed that we wouldn't talk about it to other people. So I'm just telling you this as a secret. So don't tell them. But I have to figure out a way to get it back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, and but honey, it looked like you slept outside. You're all dirty and you smell gross. Well, see, the thing is we played it in the woods. We played it outside in the woods, and I lost, so I had to walk back. So yeah. That's the gist of what happened there. So, yeah, let's just agree to never talk about this ever again. How about that? Next one comes from Aesthetic Mirror. That closet I got with the lock is not to protect my valuables. It's to hide my other types of things. I don't want to say this out loud on my podcast, but, it's to hide some having fun activity devices. Let me just put it at that. There's some things I say on my podcast and there's some things I won't. I'll literally talk about, someone getting run over by a bus, and then I'm just I don't want to talk about sex on this podcast. Why don't we just leave that out of it? No, Dad, that's not my jewelry cabinet. Don't go in there. It's wow, I want to find that watch. Don't go in there, Dad. Next one comes from Latin Oso 85. I burned the house down and not the Christmas tree. I left the lights on without putting water. I was playing with the dog and we knocked over something. A spark was created, and then the fire on Christmas Eve. I told my parents that it sparked and started. My parents got a divorce soon after that. Oh my God. Not sure if I caused that too, but life has been pretty shitty since that point. Holy fuck. I single-handedly caused my parents' divorce by burning down our house, and I never came clean about it. Yeah. You know what? This is because if you did the wiring and you insisted you would do it cheaper, and you always do this. You always undermine me when I said that we should get it professionally done, and you just said, and you and your big ego wanted to just put the thing in yourself, and look what happened. You burn our house down. This is our life. This is our children. This is our world. I'm divorcing you. And you're just sitting there and being like, whew, Dad, what were you thinking? Dad, what were you doing? How could you do this to our family, Dad? And then your mom goes through with the divorce, and it was like, Mom, do you really think that this was that big of a deal, Dad, that thing that Dad did? What if examples say that I did it? What if I did it? And then your mom was like, well, honey, if you did that, it would be even worse for you than what I'm doing to your father. All right. You would never have probably seen the light of day ever again. All right. But you thankfully, honey, you didn't do it. Right? Yeah. Dad, that guy. What a hard-nosed fella. He stuck to his guns, the whole time, said he didn't do it. Yeah. But he definitely did that. Yeah, it was definitely that. What was it? Faulty wiring. Yep, that's the one. That's the nail in the coffin right there, Dad. Yep. Yeah, big mistake, Dad. Big mistake there on that one. Yep. Next one comes from Am Russlin. My super religious father has no idea how drunk I got in high school. I think my mom knew, but she definitely never told my dad. Most likely to save my mom from the hell he put me through. Son, why are you home so late? We were so actually I was at a friend's house and we got praying, Dad, so hard. Okay? We prayed so hard and I am so tired. We are tired, Dad. I'm exhausted. So I think I'm just gonna go and rest my head down for bed, okay? I'm all prayed out, Dad. All the praying done. And I think I'm good for life now. I think Jesus loves me for the rest of time because of how much I prayed with my friends tonight. So, good night. How to know that your dad knew that you were definitely getting drunk. Next one comes from Young Chop 99. Made out with one of my mom's friends. Looking back at it, I regret it and not proud of it. She was super hot, but I'm glad it just stayed as making out multiple times over the course of the summer and nothing more. We almost had sex, but unfortunately I did not have condoms, so I turned her down. Ultimately, it turns out she was insane, in my experience. She always seemed normal to everyone else, though. I don't know, my friend. Maybe I think that was your young goggles. I think people probably saw she was maybe a couple things here and there, a little different, little bit, Yeah, she just, for some reason, she likes hanging around all those, the high school boys, just those kids. She loves them. She's really energetic, really. That's what it is. She's just really energetic. She likes being around that young energy. That's just her. That's the way she rolls. She just needs that. She needs the vibe. She's a big vibe girl, I'm old now. I can't handle those vibes. Those days behind me, yeah. So, but she loves it though. She insists upon it actually, yeah. She's really, yeah. She really seeks it out, I guess you could say. Next one comes from Addis Omega. I had my mom buy me a BMX XXX, not because I wanted to play a BMX game, but because you could unlock actual porn from it. The game was also pretty lit, though. That's like when I got Grand Theft Auto when I was like 12, and I was like made sure not to like tell my mom what the game was about. But then you go to GameStop or wherever we went, EB Games or whatever, and the people at the front, the teenagers there selling the games, are like, just so you know, ma'am, this game is a rated R game and it is not suitable for children under Blythe. If I'm going to sell you this game, then you have to consent to this and this and this. And I'm like, Mom, don't even listen to him. That's a formality. All right. It's just, they say that for everything. Okay. That's like, they say it for 2K because there's fights and like NHL and stuff and football because there's hitting. There's like in the Madden games. So really, it's just it's like a formality, Mom. They say that for every game. Yeah, just yeah, okay, sir. Yeah, you go. Come on. Yeah, we get it. But just let me buy the game, please. Yeah. And then I'm just like playing Grand Theft Auto, just shooting random civilians, fucking pulling up to the cartoon or whatever animated strip clubs, like with my friends online, just like, yeah, this is a secret I'll keep away. But you know what? My mom's probably going to listen to this podcast episode, so I think she knew. She knew. She had heard about the game. She looked it up on her own. She was like, yeah, this seems a little out there, Luke. Are you sure you really want to play a game like this? It's like, Mom, stop. Yes, of course I want to play this game. All my friends are playing it. I want to play. Please, let me. And I didn't even know anyone older either, so I don't even know how I would have gotten that game if if my mom wasn't so cool. Next one comes from Trite Contrivity. When I was younger, maybe 10 or 11, I'd been eating bagels for a week straight. They were so fucking good. Cream cheese slathered all over. One morning, my dad said no more bagels for a few days. I said okay. But when he went upstairs, I had a bagel. He'll never know. These are the real controversies, okay? We've got violence in society, mental health, bagels. Or maybe bagels and, the next election. Kind of tied. Those ones are on par, right? I think half of us are concerned about, if is Biden really going to stay president? Do you think so, folks? And are you going to tell your parents you've been eating bagels all these years after they've been telling you that you probably shouldn't be eating this many bagels, son? But, some secrets we just have to keep. Next one comes from RS the Z. Oh my God, I'm not even going to try. I got so drunk and stoned one night, I let a raccoon in the house because I thought it was my dog's. I got the raccoon out, but the raccoon ripped up the couch. I just flipped the couch pillows over, and it's been a year, and they still haven't found out. Oh my God. The dog did it. Yeah, the dog ripped. I don't even know what happened there, Mom. The dog just ripped up the couch. You know how he gets. How he gets. It's like we have a golden retriever. Like, he has never been a difficult dog in his entire life. We've actually tried to take him out to do, he's been with your uncle hunting. Okay. And the uncle's been trying to, get him to bring the dead animals, but he won't even touch him. He's the most passive dog in the world. Why would he do this? I don't know. Maybe there was some fucking coke lying around. I don't know. Maybe he just went crazy. Maybe just the mental health thing got to him. It's affecting people. It's affecting everyone, Mom. All right? We need to look at mental health for everyone, okay? People, dogs, cats, lizards, okay? It doesn't just affect humans, Mom. Okay? Did you see how depressed all the monkeys are getting now? Okay? So really insensitive, Mom, of you to say that, okay? Really insensitive to not be sensitive to animal psychology. All right? We need more behavioral animal medicine, okay? This is so way to go, Mom. Way to not be sensitive to the times. Maybe we'll read one more one. So this last one comes from Warmus. When I was 10, I went on our old sailboat with my parents and sister for the weekend. When we got back, I ran ahead to the car while my parents unloaded at the dock. I fancied myself a locksmith, I guess, and decided to pick the lock on the trunk of our 1980s Caprice Classic with a stick. I decided to unlock the trunk of the car with the stick. Well, needless to say, it didn't work, and I also broke a stick off in the lock. So my parents, oh my God. So my parents get to the car, and for some reason the key doesn't work, and we have a giant pile of bags and large coolers. My dad proceeds to fiddle with the key in the lock, tries to pry the trunk open, and cusses for what seems like hours. It's getting dark. My dad is still cussing. He finally manages to pry the rear of the back seat forward, and there's a tiny gap to the trunk, and I'm convinced to crawl through it into a pitch black trunk and try to open it. I get in somehow. Eventually, I brace myself on my hands and knees and arch my back, push up as hard as I can, and the trunk pops open. We load up the trunk, tie it down with a bungee cord, and drive home 2 hours. Dad is still cussing, and I will never tell him. He knew, okay? There was wood in the lock, okay? That doesn't just Wood doesn't just magically find its way into the lock. You know, I think it's just like this. Why is there branches sticking out of the little lock? This is like wood. Why is there wood in here? Who would stick wood in here? Okay. Yeah, I think there's like that's the moment in a movie where you just see the camera immediately shift to the child. It's just lock, boom, lock, boom. Yeah, it's you. Yeah, they knew. Your dad knew, but he just wanted to cuss out in the world instead of seeming like a bad father for cussing at you. Anyways, okay, thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. I know this one was a little short, but it is Christmas Day, and I've got family stuff to do and other things, like I want to watch Christmas Day football and basketball, so thank you all so much for tuning into the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast to read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick, and I'm so happy to be here with you again on another week's episode. I will see y'all again next week, and remember to please... to please write a review and leave a rating on Spotify. And also remember, you can reply to this week's episode in Spotify, and I will read that response aloud next on the week's following episode, and you will be notified when your response is published. So thank you all for tuning in. I love each and every single one of you. Peace out. Love you. Bye.